Hi cuties. Okay, so I'm on serious business today. The last 3 weeks I haven't done shit else besides Starfield, okay? I literally have just been sitting in my gaming chair, peeing and pooping all over the place, just chugging Mountain Dew and woofing Doritos down, okay? Dragging Andreja with me all over the fucking universe. I peeled back a lot of layers from this game, making outposts, building ships, doing every faction quest, and completing the main quest as well. I'm currently on New Game Plus, however, I won't be discussing much from that because I haven't beat it yet, and also I don't want to spoil anything for you slow-ass motherfuckers who aren't no-lifing the game like me, okay? I think I should preface by just letting everyone know right off the rip that Fallout New Vegas is my favorite game from Bethesda, even though they didn't make it, I know, with Oblivion being a close second. So keep that in mind before I review their latest and greatest shit right here, okay? I shall start by saying that Starfield is a wondrous game, a true spectacle, and a fucking blast at times, okay? The pros outweigh the cons with this game, and it's incredibly enjoyable. Now that I got that dick sucking out the way, let's just dive in. First, I want to talk about all the good shit that I love in this game. The gunplay is stellar. I'm super proud to actually like gunfights in a fucking Bethesda title, who would've thunk? The jump from this game's gunplay to something like Fallout New Vegas is like sending an email versus having that shit delivered by a pigeon, bro. The jump is tremendous, dude. Utilizing the boost pack and your powers mid-gunfight is awesome, and I love the weapon modifications once you maxed out that skill tree. I basically had like a stealthy pistol using sniper popping demon, and silently taking down outposts from the shadows was super rewarding. There's so many different types of weapons and like thousands of unique ammunition types it felt like, so I always kept like 20 on me at all times. I was sticked up to the maximum. The skills themselves are another huge plus for me, although I hated not automatically having stealth and pickpocketing already being unlocked. That was fucking stupid. What's that all about, dude? Needing to be like level 4 million or whatever to actually get them all is a little nuts, but I know there are some insane few motherfuckers out there willing to actually do it. I also loved the idea where a companion can buff your skills just by dragging their ass along with you. Like, Sam and Barrett held down my ship for the longest. I appreciate y'all, man. Upgrading your speech skill actually felt very rewarding too, due to the new little minigame for it, where it's basically playing a math equation just to convince someone to give you all their shit. Good stuff. I'm also of the opinion I think that the digipicks in this vidya game are the best lockpicks I've ever used in a vidya game ever. They're challenging, and that translates throughout the entire experience. Even in late game scenarios, I was still getting fucking cooked by the master locks, dog. As far as melee and unarmed skills go, I neglected the fuck out of that shit in the game, but they look fine enough. I don't know. Anyways, playing half the game on Xbox Series X and the other half on PC via GeForce Now, overall the game is good graphically. It's not gonna blow your fucking socks off like Cyberpunk or none, but none of the Bethesda games really do anyways unless it's modded to shit. So the fact that I was getting consistent frame drops on New Atlantis and a few other places while on Series X definitely sucks though. Like, it's already bad I had to deal with this shit at 30 and then you gonna go below that, bro? What the fuck? I also want to say that the game at times seems very gray. Like, I don't know how else to put it. It looks like there's almost a smoky ass filter on it, like Todd Howard was barbecuing while they developed this shit. I don't know. Apparently there's some sort of HDR issues going on with the game, but I think what I'm talking about is a stylistic design choice, similar to how those like mid-gen Xbox 360 games always felt like brown and doo-doo saucy looking. So yeah, the load screens in this game are plentiful, but nowhere near as painful as Fallout 4 on the Xbox One, bro. Since it's a Bethesda title, fast traveling is obviously going to be the #1 source of transportation, and I think exploration overall is just a little bogged down because of this. As opposed to walking around to the next objective and finding shit along the way, Starfield just grab jumps you there in 10 seconds, which is fine, I guess, but I think the people complaining about barren planets and shit are still trying to play this bitch like Skyrim when they really just need to be teleporting everywhere. Now, outposts are a very interesting part of the game, but I think they're slightly underdeveloped or perhaps just underwhelming. Once I found out that you can easily do the XP exploit by just crafting 100 adaptive frames every millisecond, I kind of lost all motivation to do anything legitimately. I know you could just say that's a skill issue on my part and I can play however the fuck I want, but in Fallout 4, say what you will, that game's settlement building felt more immersive to me. I adored being able to build a quaint little town with my silly widow villagers and giving them shops and shit to do. Once I slapped my 2 slaves to my outpost, I never even interacted with them ever again. I built myself a nice little house and everything on Jameson, but I simply think it doesn't really have true staying power in the game for me. Also, let me just say, if I critique something in this game, please don't just be like,
oh, don't worry, bro, there's a mod that's gonna fix it. Don't worry, man, it's coming out soon.
I'm judging the game presented to me, so you can catch a fat case of Sugma. Alright, back to the topic. Now that I got Outpost out the way, I will say the shipbuilding mechanic is fucking awesome. It feels super dense and meaty and juicy, and I spent several hours ripping apart shitty ships and crafting crazy big ones. Just seeing people make the fucking magic school bus and shit, and even my dog Sean Balder Pussy crafting a fucking Xbox ship, just shows you they really went all out in making sure you had the best tools available to make whatever you like in this game. And I love the mechanic. I said mechanic? What the I like the mechanic of having different parts being in different locations depending on where you dock. It feels really immersive landing at Deimos and getting mainly Deimos products. It sucks not being able to have a build mode inside the ship though. I wish there was like a decoration toggle like when you get property in the game, but in the end it doesn't even matter because as good as the shipbuilding is, it saddens me because I think I spent more time building my damn ship than flying it. And I know I could go out of my way to perhaps go and find people in space to kill or rob and be a pirate. However, in Bethesda games, the way to traverse is usually by fast travel. So most of the time, I'm just gonna zip from galaxy to galaxy, seeing my ship for only seconds at a time. I'm not saying the game needs to be No Man's Sky, and honestly, I hate even mentioning that game because I think it's unfair when people compare this Bethesda RPG to that boring ass shit. However, they do have a cool system of flying your ship all over a planet if you'd like. In my opinion, I think they tried to do the best they could, but the creation engine really held back the idea of this, which is why they also couldn't include land rovers and shit. Speaking of land rovers, let's talk about planet exploration. If you land on a populated planet with a dense city on it, you can definitely appreciate the handcrafted approach they took to make it as immersive as possible. However, let's say you land on the opposite side of the same planet, that charm quickly dissipates once you start to see that procedural sludge. You walk around and it's like, hey, it's that abandoned mineshaft I've seen 14 fucking times already on 7 other planets, dude. I remember when the gaming god Todd Howard himself first announced that this game had over 1,000 planets. It immediately made my heart sink to my anus just because I was afraid this game would have no soul and end up looking like No Man's Sky. But for like a decent chunk of the planets, there's at least something of interest to discover that isn't just the same AI generated bullshit. Neon is easily my favorite location in the entire game. The cyberpunk swag is delicious, and the city, despite seeming small, is packed with dozens of side quests, including the best faction quest, the Ryujin Industries. Neon really reminds me of the Tamriel marketplace from Oblivion, where there's lots of shops, tons of NPCs, or at least it seemed like there was a lot back then. I don't know, I haven't played that game in a long time, and hundreds of shit to pick up and interact with. That goes for Aquila City and New Atlantis, but only in the underground part of New Atlantis, the Well. In my opinion, I personally feel like they should have maybe taken an Outer Worlds approach of creating maybe 10 to 20 super dense planets in different galaxies, as opposed to maybe 10% of the planets overall actually having good shit to do. And this is a tiny gripe I have, but I really wish there was a Fallout nuclear Easter egg somewhere in the Washington, D.C. area of old Earth. Like, come on, dog, throw me a bone here, please! Overall, I'll say the planet exploration in this game is okay. I'm not even going to talk about the lack of a local small town map because I feel like that topic is being beat to death, but I will say it definitely sucks having to wander around a town you already been in a dozen times once the magic of the discovery is already all gone. Okay, I feel like I spent way too much time talking about that. Let's talk about these factions now. I'm very fucking impressed with these, and I'm starting to think they're Bethesda's best, guys. I'm sorry. I tried to think of how I would rank them overall, but it's almost impossible because they're all great in their own unique ways. I'd say the Ryujin is my personal favorite overall because it just reminded me of the Thieves Guild from Oblivion, and I think you get the coolest rewards, and I love tactical espionage. I'm a Metal Gear fan, bro. What can I say, you know? So all the factions are decently long with good plot lines, and if you take the time to read the notes and soak in the environmental storytelling, you'll see they are so marvelous. I will critique the fact that it seems as if there's not too much player choice that significantly alters any of the stories. I mean, for example, with the Crimson Fleet, you can choose to either betray them or defend them. I mean, that's about it. I always go back to this, but in Fallout New Vegas, you can murder whoever the fuck you want, and the game will work around that decision if need be. But if you try to just obliterate the Crimson Fleet right off the start, the NPCs will only be incapacitated. Sorry. And that goes for the main quest too, which I will not spoil whatsoever, but fellas, I got some bad news. I was highly disappointed by the main quest, okay? I thought several Constellation members were just plain and boring, no seasoning, nothing. Like Noel and Mateo with his stupid ass fucking daycare hat. Walter was decent. He has his old little rich guy funny quirks, but the best Constellation member for me is easily Andreja. I thought Sarah Morgan was damn near insufferable at times, and I genuinely had to just dismiss her ass because she does not let you have fun at all. As soon as I would steal some shit or like roast a guy for looking ugly or something, she's all like,
Ooh, now why would you do that? I am peeved.
like, okay, fuck off, dude. It also felt like at a certain point, the main quest line just became a simple fetch quest. I'm trying to convey this in the best way possible without spoiling, so bear with me. The story was also very predictable and had only one big twist that I was actually baffled by, and once that twist happens, I struggled to be as immersed simply because it felt like everything else in the universe almost paled in comparison to the real matter at hand. Forgive me if that makes no fucking sense, I'm just not trying to ruin the game for y'all, you know? But yeah, I would honestly argue that Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 and Skyrim and
Oblivion.
all have better main quests. It's not like Starfield has the worst main quest line ever or anything like that, it was just...
I don't know.
Another small gripe I have that may be unfair is that Starfield just isn't that funny. If this is a stupid take, just let me know, but everyone in this game feels so fucking serious all the time. I mean, I know there's comic relief characters like Barrett, but his humor and personality seems so forced and bland in a world surrounded by nothing but dullness sometimes. I tried to have my character be a sarcastic prick as much as possible, and it seems as though every NPC absolutely hated it and almost never had a funny retort back. Like,
Cook me too, dude.
I don't know, maybe I'm being too harsh and this game made everyone else giggle and fart. It's just my honest thoughts. In my opinion, a game of this magnitude is always going to struggle to please everybody because since it has so many different gameplay systems, there's a chance that a handful of them aren't going to be sufficient enough for certain people. For example, I wasn't blown away by the main story, but my friends loved it, and that's fair. Different stroke, different folk, right? Giving this game a 7 or an 8 out of 10, like from IGN and stuff, seems unfair in a certain light because it does so many great things, but it's obvious there's just some glaring issues. And as I start to wrap this up for y'all, I know I've been talking for so long, oh my god. I hope I genuinely showed that I really do like this game, despite its flaws. Oh, dude, I look so fucking sick!
Ah, please Starfield.
And I will play it for years to come, especially with the DLC and shit and the titty mods. For the honest Ripper rating, I usually don't do these, but I have to. I want to give this game 8 rips out of 10. And this is my personal score based off of calculations and factual statistics being utilized, okay? Starfield is a huge game with so many things to love, but its size is almost its biggest flaw, spreading itself thin in certain areas just to give the impression of an infinite amount of things to do. Quality over quantity is definitely something I'd wish for in their next Starfield sequel if it ever happens, and despite all of this, it's still a pretty fucking great game, dude. But yeah, I realized I have been speaking for way too long now, and half of these thoughts probably don't make sense, so yeah, Starfield's pretty fucking good, man. Alright, I gotta go poop, so I love you. Jump to that like button, drop a nuke on the subscribe, and I love you guys.
Bye.